Hello children, welcome to aimsindia's online classes. This is biology session. You are watching movements in living beings part 4. Children, so far we have studied the difference between the movement and locomotion, the movement in different animals, and we are discussing about the human skeleton, axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. So, very interesting the skeleton system. How does it work? In the skeleton system, we completed the different parts of the skeleton, and also we entered into the muscular system and the different types of muscles which help in the basically 3 types of muscles. What are the 3 types of muscles which we have studied? Yeah, skeletal muscles, smooth muscles, and finally cardiac muscle. Okay. So, about and the different muscles, over 600 more than 600 muscles are present in our body. Okay, how muscles are attached to the bone? With the help of a connective tissue called tendon. The fibrous connective tissue tendon helps in connecting the muscles with the bone. Okay. And about the joints in the bones, we have studied ligaments, isn't it? Ligaments are connecting 2 bones each other. Okay. Let us study more in the today's class about the skeleton in general. What we have studied again, let us recall. The hardened tissue of the body together form the skeleton. Sclero, the Greek term, the meaning is hard. Okay. Skeleton of the invertebrates is most often secreted on the surface, forming a lifeless or dead exoskeleton. Okay. Means we may get a doubt whether the vertebrates means the animals which possess the vertebral column or backbone, they possess the endoskeleton, but what about the invertebrates? So, in most of the invertebrates, this skeleton, okay, forming a lifeless or dead exoskeleton. Okay. In higher vertebrates also there is a exoskeleton. That exoskeleton is in the form of what we have discussed, hairs, nails, horns, claws, hoofs, like that. Okay. But invertebrates only exoskeleton is present, that is lifeless. Exoskeleton is lifeless, whereas the skeleton of vertebrates develop most often underneath the surface, forming a living or growing endoskeleton. Okay, endoskeleton is having life, so it is a living or growing endoskeleton. So, let us take invertebrates. Protozoa, unicellular organisms like amoeba, there is no skeleton. Porifera, porifera means the primitive. Next to protozoa, poriferans. Okay, tissue level organization starts. So, in these animals, example sponges, they are also called poriferans are also called sponges. In sponges, spicules are present. Calcareous means calcium silicate and calcium the combinations. The calcareous spicules and the siliceous spicules and spongin fibers. These 3 combine to form the fibers, okay, the fiber like structures in mesenchyme. Mesenchyme means the middle layer. The spicules in the porifera, they represent the endoskeleton. So, we can say poriferans, the endoskeleton is in the form of spicules. These spicules are calcareous spicules, siliceous spicules, and the spongin fibers in mesenchyme. These 3 types. Okay, they represent the endoskeleton in poriferans. Example for porifera, sponges. Next, coelenterata or cnidaria. In these animals also calcareous. The skeleton is made up of calcium carbonate, calcium silicates. Here also calcareous skeleton or chitinous. Okay. The calcareous skeleton is seen in corals and coral reefs. These are the oceanic animals, aquatic, okay, present at the seabed. Corals are present, and chitinous example, they are perisarc. Okay. Next, helminths. In helminths there is no skeleton, only outer layer, protective layer called cuticle is present. Next, annelids. Annelids means earthworm, leech. These are the examples. Helminths example, intestinal parasites, okay, like roundworm, tapeworm come under helminths. So, there is no skeleton in them, whereas in annelids also no skeleton, only cuticle, a tough protective layer is present okay, on the outer surface of the body. So, in annelids also cuticle. So, you can see here in this image about the sponges, spicules, calcareous spicules, okay, siliceous spicules. So, star shaped they are. Okay, this is the coral, calcareous in nature, calcium oxalates, calcium silicates, calcium carbonates, then they form the very tough structures called these corals. Okay, they may be several kilometers length under the seabed. Okay, corals and coral reefs they are called. Next, in annelid no skeleton, cuticle is present. In earthworm, for example, in earthworm and ascaris, ascaris means it is a helminth, is a hydrostatic skeleton is found, hydrostatic skeleton is found, that is fluid filled with filled in the coelom body cavity. Okay. So, for example, this is the outer wall and the intestine, between some space is present, in this fluid is flowing. Okay. This fluid filled cavity is called the coelom and it forms the turgid skeleton. It will form the turgid skeleton. Turgid means tough, or we can say turgid means somewhat moisty, sticky. Okay, when you see the earthworm externally, that coelomic fluid oozes out from the dorsal pores, means outer skin, okay, from the cuticle. So, this that is why whenever the earthworm is moving on the sand particles will get attached to the skin. So, due to this the turgid nature of the skeleton. Next, arthropods. Arthropods means insects. So, dead chitinous exoskeleton is present and this exoskeleton is often shed at intervals, and this process is called ecdysis. Ecdysis or molting, it is very interesting process in these insects. So, that will help in the growth of that insect. Several times in its life cycle it undergo ecdysis or molting, influenced by several hormones like ecdysone, okay, the hormone which influence ecdysis. The cuticle made up of non-chitinous outer epicuticle and chitinous inner endocuticle. Means we can divide the cuticle into two parts, outer and endo, inner. Okay, outer epicuticle, inner endocuticle. Molluscans. So, example for this arthropods, you can take cockroach or you can take any insect. Okay. The molluscans. Molluscans means shelled animals. Example, snail. The shell, calcareous shell, may be the external or internal or absent. Okay, the shell is present, it may be an external or internal. In some animals of molluscan group, this skeleton may be absent. Echinodermata or echinoderms, the dermal calcareous plates are present in this echinoderms. The dermal calcareous plates acts as a skeleton. Next, hemichordata. Hemichordata, the endoskeleton is in the form of a proboscis skeleton. Okay, they possess a proboscis, or it is also called pygochord. Pygochord. Okay, balanoglossus. Example for hemichordata, balanoglossus. Example for echinodermata, starfish. Okay. So, you can see the insect, this is locust or grasshopper. So, it possesses a chitinous exoskeleton. Okay. Next, you can take mollusks, they show these shells, calcareous shells are present. Okay. Calcium made up of calcium carbonate, calcium silicates. So, they are beautifully colored they are. Okay. You can find these shells at the seashores, isn't it? Trumpet is also, it is the skeleton or the shell of molluscans. Okay. Now, responsive growth movements in plants. So, we have studied in detail in the animals. We come to the plants. The responsive growth movements toward or away from an external stimulus are called tropisms. Okay. The movement in the plants is called tropism. It may be of different types depending upon the type of stimulus. If the plant movement is towards the stimulus, it is a positive tropism. Away from the stimulus, it is a negative tropism. Okay. Positive tropism may be there, negative tropism may be there. Okay. What is positive tropism? Movement towards the stimulus. What is negative tropism? Movement of the plant part away from the stimulus is called a negative tropism. Okay. Tropism in plants. A tropism is a growth movement whose direction is determined by the direction from which the stimulus strikes the plant. Okay. The tropisms are the means by which plants grow toward or away from environmental stimuli. Okay, such as, what are the stimuli? Different types of stimuli: light, gravity, objects to climb, moisture in the soil, or the position of the sun. Okay, different examples we can see. Okay. So, a stimulus is the environmental factor. Okay, it has some ability to cause or to get a response from the organism. Okay. Although the plants appear not to move, they have evolved adaptations to allow movement in response to various environmental stimuli. Okay. Such mechanisms are called tropisms. Okay. So, if it is a light, phototropism; if it is gravity, geotropism. Okay. If it is showing any response by touch, thigmotropism. Okay, like that. Depending upon the stimuli, the tropism name changes. Okay, let us see. First, positive tropism. What is positive? The plant or a part of it grows in the direction from which the stimulus originates. Negative, growth of the plant part or plant away from the stimulus. The plants respond to light. That phenomenon is called phototropism. Okay, for example, the shoot system of the plant or the stems are positively phototropic. Positively phototropic means grow towards the light, whereas roots are negatively phototropic. Where we will find roots? Roots grow into the soil, means against the sunlight. Okay, that's why roots are negatively phototropic, whereas stem is positively phototropic. Next, gravity. Gravity, the phenomenon is called as gravitropism or geotropism. The stems are negatively gravitropic or geotropic, okay, because they are growing against the gravitational force, okay, while roots are positively geotropic, positively gravitropic. They are growing towards the gravity of the earth or soil. Next, phototropism. Once again in detail, the tropic response to unidirectional light is called phototropism. In general, the shoots grow towards, shoots means stem, it grows towards the light, and hence they are positively phototropic, and roots grow away from the light and are negatively phototropic. The different wavelengths of light cause differing growth responses. Okay. For example, actually light is a sunlight, particularly we are discussing about the sunlight is a electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation. The sunlight consisting of the light, different wavelengths of lights are present in the sunlight spectrum. The wavelengths less than 500 micrometer or nanometer is most effective in producing a growth response in plants, okay, especially 200 to 400 nanometers, that is called visible light, okay, the light which is we can able to see. So, the light from the sun, okay, that is a visible wavelength. So, that visible wavelength, visible light is useful for the plant in the process of photosynthesis, okay, especially the red light and blue light, maximum photosynthesis takes place, okay. Next, gravitropism. The gravitropism is a plant response to gravity. The shoots are negatively gravitropic because they grow upward or against the gravitational force. Roots are positively gravitropic because they grow downwards or grow towards the gravity. Okay, you can see here gravitropism. So, here root growing towards the gravity. Okay. So, this is positively gravitropic and negatively phototropic, whereas stem negatively gravitropic and positively phototropic. Okay. Next, chemotropism. Chemotropism means the growth response of a plant or a plant part to the touch of a solid object is called chemotropism, or response to touch is called chemotropism in plants. Okay, you know very well some climbers, the plants which climb taking the support, for example pea or beans or whatever it may be, okay, the weak stemmed plant. So, in those plants special structures, spring like structures are present, they are called tendrils. The tendrils of climbing plants wrapping around a support, okay, you can see here, okay, these are the tendrils, they are wrapping about, this is the support, a pole or a wood, okay, wood plank, whatever it may be. Wrapping around a support is a common chemotropic response. So, accomplished by the cells on the side touching the support shortening and those on the opposite side elongating. Okay. So, here it will twine, twiners, they are also called twiners. Okay. Some of them are twining from right to left and some of them are twining from left to right. Okay. Dextrose twiners, synitrose twiners, you will study in higher classes. Okay, whatever it may be, chemotropism means the growth response of a plant or a plant part to the touch of a solid object is called chemotropism. Okay. So, you can see clearly here, these are the spring like structures like bottle gourd, bitter gourd, okay. They also climb, okay, in order to expose their foliage structures to the sunlight, okay, because the leaves require light to undergo the photosynthesis. To expose those leaves with the help of these modified structures called tendrils, okay, they climb and they perform that function, okay. This is called chemotropism. Chemotropism. Chemotropism means response to the chemicals. For example, the pollen tubes and fungal hyphae definite direction in relation to chemicals. The movement of the pollen tubes and fungal hyphae in the definite direction in relation to the chemicals. When a curvature takes place in response to a chemical stimulus, that is chemotropism. The growth of the pollen tube through stigma and style, okay, these are the parts of flower. In the flower, the middle whorl, it is called the ovary, okay, and the female reproductive part. The ovary is divided into three parts: stigma, upper stigma, middle tube like structure called style, and the bottom innermost part, it is called as a ovary. So, that tube, the growth of the pollen tube, when you know very well the pollination means when the pollen grains fall on the stigma of the flower, the pollen tube means the pollen grain germinate to produce a tube like structure. So, that is called okay, I will draw here. For example, this is the middle part of the flower. So, this is called the ovary. Three parts are there. This is the stigma, and this is the style, and this is the ovary, okay. Whenever the pollen grains, when the pollen grain reach the stigma of a flower, pollen grain is the male reproductive cell. So, it germinate to produce a tube like structure, that is called the pollen tube, okay. It is in response to the chemicals. A chemotropism, good example this is, okay. So, the growth of pollen tube through the stigma and style towards the embryo sac is present here in the ovary, okay, occurs with the stimulus of chemical substances present in the carpel or movement of the another in this pollen tube. All these things takes place in the angiosperms, flowering plants, whereas in fungi multicellular another group of plants, the movement of the fungal hyphae also takes place in response to the chemicals, okay. Hydrotropism means the movement towards the water. Example, roots of seedlings. You know very well, whenever you sow a seed and pour water, so what happens? The seed activates, okay, and produce a radical, the first part of the root. So, that root of the seedlings means baby plants, okay. The growth movements in response to the external stimulus of water termed as a hydrotropism, okay. Roots are positively hydrotropic, so bend towards the source of water. The stem are either indifferent or negatively hydrotropic. The positively hydrotropic movement of the roots is stronger than their geotropic response, okay. Means here the meaning is the geotropic response means movement of the roots towards the gravitational force of the earth. So, compared to the hydrotropic movement, geotropic movement is somewhat poor, or we can say the positive hydrotropic movement of the roots is stronger than the positive geotropic movement, okay. Next type of movements, nastic movements. Nastic movement means the external stimulus but diffuse type or non-directional, whereas the tropic movement is in particular direction, but nastic movement in the plants is irrespective of direction of the stimulus. Okay. Nyctinasty, the terminology is very important, children, in the NEET foundation. Nyctinasty, nyctinasty means the diurnal. So there are two in the environmental, the climatic, or we can say day and nights. In the technical terms we call it as diurnal and nocturnal. Diurnal means daytime, nocturnal means night time. Okay. So the diurnal, the changes in day, movements of leaves and flowers of some species which take up sleeping position at night. Okay. So that's why nocturnal, nyctinasty means the sleeping position at night are called nyctinastic movements, especially leaves and flowers of certain plants, certain or some species of plants show this nyctinasty, nastic movement. Depending upon the stimulus, they may be photonastic. Photonastic means taking light as a stimulus, light stimulus, and thermonastic means here the temperature stimulus. Then for example, maranta, the prayer plant, an ornamental house plant. Ornamental means for decoration we can grow these plants. Okay. So the maranta or prayer plant, an ornamental house plant, provides most common examples of nyctinastic responses. Nyctinastic responses. Okay. This nyctinasty may be photonastic or thermonastic. Okay. Then thigmonasty, or it is also called as a haptonasty. Okay. You know, certain plants called insectivorous plants, the plants which swallow the insects. Okay, they possess a variety of structures. So the tentacles of insectivorous plants is an example of thigmonasty. When marginal glandular hairs of Drosera, okay, Drosera is an insectivorous plant, for example, like this, it possesses some tentacles like structures on its leafy or stem. Okay. So these tentacles are glandular hair-like structures, glandular hair-like structures of the Drosera plant. They trap the insects. Okay, Venus flytrap, it is also called as some scientific names are there. Okay. For example, Nepenthes is called pitcher plant. Okay, it possesses the funnel-like structure and a lid over it. Okay. So like this. So when the marginal glandular hairs of the Drosera comes in contact with some foreign body or an insect, the body of insect, they show haptonastic movements. Haptonastic movements. So due to this, the insect comes in contact with the central glandular hair, which after being stimulated bring the marginal glandular hair on the body of the insects. So Drosera shows both nyctinastic movement and thigmonasty movement. Okay. Nyctinasty means it is a special type of movements of leaves. Okay. The Drosera leaf modified tentacles are present. So the sleeping position at night, okay, that is called as a nyctinasty. Okay, thigmonasty. So here now you understood the difference between a nastic movement and a tropic movement. The tropic movement takes place in a particular direction, but whereas nastic movements non-directional. Okay. Next, chemonasty. Chemonasty, once again example, tentacles of insectivorous plants. Okay. Next, sesimonasty. Sesimonasty means it is example mimosa puduca, touch me not plant. Okay. The turgor change in the pulvinous leaf base. So pulvinous leaf base means in general the leaf it is a normal leaf. The pulvinous leaf base means here the leaf base is somewhat like this. The leaf is somewhat the base of the leaf is somewhat long or wide. Okay. So this type of movement is brought about in response to external stimulus of shock or touch. See, the leaves fold up on touching with fingers. So here sensitive plant, this is mimosa puduca, touch me not plant. Okay. Next, the best example of the sesimonastic movement is the leaves plant mimosa pudica, touch me not plant. So it shows both nyctinastic sleeping movement, nyctinastic means sleeping movement, and sesimonastic movement means shock movements. Okay children, this is about the living and non-living lesson. Read the book. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.